Action Democratic Party is one of the 18 political parties cleared by the Independent National Electoral Commission to contest next February's presidential election. The party's standard bearer and the former chairman of the Inter-Party Advisory Council, Yabagi, was just a week ago involved in the Arise News Town Hall meeting with 3 others in Abuja, where he spoke about his plans and programs for governance. He has now joined us to touch base with that and other issues.
Hello everyone, good day according to your time. Welcome back to Learning is Secure. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you are seeing my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and kindly hit on the notification button. Please follow my page and like as well. So that God bless you. Yes, wonder shall never end, my people. As I say this video, I'm going to use until they step down myself and I know as I did one now. When person go see video like this, you go one listening to around, see waiting day for inside the video. I can't notice say the question whether they ask this man, I be you will be say you want to be Nigeria president. You never do anything whether they call campaign. You never do anything like campaign for this season. And other people they do campaign where they see everything for social media. And this man, even if he say he get as he can be, you know, they say and often like that. He can be like president will be said already they scarce before he go come be the president if eventually, you know. So as they ask and say, how you intend to be president? I beg when I go listen to the response because me, I don't know how they talk that one. When I go listen to the response on herself, when I go feel understand and say, see waiting this man they talk say the thing can't surprise me. I can't say sure. You will be say you won't be president, you never do campaign, you never do anything. And the election is just around the corner. And you want Nigerians, they don't even know you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And Jesus Christ of mercy. But me Nigeria made them think very well this time around because me, I don't know how they did it talk for this kind of matter. The man is so full of himself, like sitting down there telling us this, that. No, that is not how it's supposed to be. If you want to be a president, you have to do what other people are doing. Do your campaign. I believe some people, they are just doing this because of they just want to have it also written in their name. Even if they fail, you understand, they could just stay there, say they don't fail, participate for this kind of important thing for Nigeria. So guys, wanna look at this video and wanna leave in a comment. God will bless all of you as you go take share this video. See you in my next update. Ciao.
Such as what it means to be in the race against the supposed money bags, target audiences, INEC's handling of preparations, reports of pervasive registration of underage voters, and having to share the northern vote with Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and New Nigeria People's Party's Rabiu Musa Kwakwanso. Welcome, good morning, Engineer Yabagi. Good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning.
And Abby, good morning.
Thank you so much.
Happy Sunday to you.
Happy Sunday to you too.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that you must have had a great time last week Sunday at the Arise Town Hall where you spoke about your plans for Nigerians if you emerge as the president, especially in the areas of the economy and security. But then beyond that, Engineer Sani, what else have you done in letting Nigerians know what you actually have in store for them? We have not had your party organize any rally or any major campaigns since the campaign season started almost 2 months ago. Now, less than 100 days to the election. How are you reaching Nigerians beyond the platform of town hall meetings like the one that was given to you last Sunday? And what will be your core message to Nigerians?
Thank you, Steve.
All right, you're welcome.
Good morning, Nigerians. Yes, we are working very hard, not in the manner that you have said that you haven't heard from us. If you remember what happened in Ekiti, in Osun, which is the last election that we had, off-season election we had, our party came third in that election. And it wasn't that we were allowed in our campaigns. We believe more in one-on-one, discussions with key stakeholders, in the polity, and that is why you are yet to hear the loud campaigns, which definitely will come. But we believe in direct contact in the first instance, selling ourselves, our programs, convincing Nigerians that time has come for us to look away from what has not worked for us. Since the coming of this, the Fourth Republic now, which is since 1999 to date, nobody is happy with what is happening. And those you see junketing, making so much noise, are the reasons why we are where we are today. These are the deficient in terms of knowledge. Politicians, they don't have the knowledge of what to do with power. They don't even understand Nigerian economy in terms of its structure, in terms of the fundamentals, in terms of how we connect with the international community, in terms of the advantages that we have, comparative advantages in terms of what God has given to us. We have the extractive industry, oil and gas, solid minerals. We have the most precious asset, which is the human capital. Nobody is keen into this, talking about this, how we can connect with the international community. Today, the narratives all over the world is about climate change, it's about energy transition, it's about information technology. And when you look at Nigeria, we occupy a very, very key position in all these three things. That is why our administration is going to make these three as the plank of our policy thrust. We have told Nigerians that we are coming to rule by to govern by the rule of law. Why? Because when you have rule of law, everybody gets a chance to aspire to be who he wants to be. Everybody gets a chance to be protected by the government. Everybody gets a chance to enjoy those we term as dividends of democracy, which is your physiological needs, the safety that you require, and like I said, ability to aspire to be who you want to be. That is not possible today in Nigeria, simply because those we have had at the heads of affairs do not understand how these basic things really add up to make a good government. And that's why Action Democratic Party and myself as the president, by the grace of God, will deliver to Nigerians what has been eluding Nigerians for so long, which is what? Which is good life. Because you can't be number 6 as a country in terms of crude oil and gas producer in the whole world, and you cannot even be number 3 for that matter. When you talk about gas, we are either number 3 or number 4. So how do we find ourselves in this situation of abject poverty, quagmire, killings, and what have you? You cannot be that and be this. It doesn't add up. So that is what we are coming to ensure Nigerians will enjoy these God-given gifts that God is looking, the whole world is looking for. So what I'm saying is that we want to ensure that insecurity issue is resolved, and resolved, with the finality that, like other countries, they also battle with insecurity, but not at the level that we are battling with it in this country. And reasons are that people have mentioned security architecture in this country, that you can't even see the evidence of it, because you ask yourself, what is the policy of this government on security? What is the standard of application? I'm talking about the standards of applying these policies. What are the aims of, even when you apply this policy, what are you looking for? So these are the things that are not present today in this country today. And I have the capacity, the intellectual capacity, and also the ability and the sound mind, to really bring about these things that are required for a country like Nigeria that's supposed to be described as a developed country, not a developing country. So the point I'm trying to make is that Nigeria is a promise of greatness because we have all it takes. I've said we have resources, we have human capital, the most precious asset we can talk about, and we are bringing a policy thrust under our government that keys into the narratives today. I'm talking about the global narratives today. We just had COP27 that just ended maybe yesterday or so. So that is where I think Nigeria should be found to be very active. Yes, we presented a request of about $400 billion or something like that for adaptation of our environment. It's good, but we should go beyond that. We should talk about how do we transit from the fossil fuel to the renewable energies. We are a gas country, like I said, and gas has been described as the bridge between where the world is today and where they want to be. Europe is looking for this gas. We all know about that. So how do we attract the investment required to build infrastructure that will deliver gas to Europe? It's a tall order under an administration like this. It will be a tall order under an administration that will be led again by those that have put us where we are. A government that is not focused, is not in any way credible. You can't, if you are not credible as a government, no serious investor will come to your client to invest money. And when you talk about energy transition, you need trillions of dollars investment in that to achieve that. So we are going to do that. Look at what is happening with the AKK. That is Ajakuta, Kaduna, Kano, gas pipeline. All we require was just $2.8 billion. We couldn't, manage to get the money. Chinese, I understand they are having to think about the $1 billion that the projects are going to bring. So, but we look at us, we're losing $5 billion every year, according to 90 reports. And nobody has done anything. Who has been brought to book? Who is stealing this money? Even when officially it came out that 80% of our crude oil is being stolen, what has been done other than chasing shadow, moving the officers of NNPC to the swamps and what have you and come back and then, okay, after that, what has happened? How could it be that a whole vessel will leave this country and will not be captured until when it got to Guinea? And it is then that our officers are now running the military people, that, okay, we have gotten how did it escape? Nobody's asking the question. Those who are in charge of security at that time should be the ones that should be facing the courts, not the people that, I'm not saying that I should let those ones go, but the culprits are the ones that allowed that big vessel to leave. And what happened to the content of the vessel? So these are questions that you must ask yourself about this country and believe that people like me should be, the president of this country. I'll tell you, my background, I studied industrial management engineering, and that discipline is the discipline that leads all the advanced disciplines in engineering. What I'm trying to say is that you need somebody with knowledge, with analytical mind, to be able to govern this country properly, to deliver for this country what has been promised us. As an industrial management engineering, I have the knowledge in terms of background technically, to be able to coordinate all the other aspects of engineering, which is very important in the 21st century economy. You have to talk about science. How do you apply science? I have the educational knowledge from Columbia University that I can use to really harness all the potentials available to us in terms of human capital, in terms of governance. So I have given this government, I'm talking about the present government, ideas on how to stop crude oil theft. They tried it only for some few months. And then we discovered about 9.6 million barrels of crude oil was about to be stolen by my system. And then in the next few months, they stopped the system. I don't know why. And it is the government that wants to fight, corruption. So similarly, I'm talking about issues that are bedeviling our economy. Crude oil theft is one of them. Fuel subsidy is one of them. I have dealt with the issue of fuel subsidy in this country. I gave it to administration of, I think it was Babangida administration. I suggested to them the idea of two-tier system of selling fuel. It helped at that point in time. How it was jettisoned, I don't know why. So when you talk about things that are affecting us today in this country, fuel subsidy is one of them, which you all know, conundrum of corruption. Theft is one of them, crude oil theft is one of them. I have given ideas. Even the PIA that was passed, I have said time with that number, that is the biggest swindle against this country. I'm talking about the Petroleum Industry Act, and I can prove it if you allow me to. It is the biggest swindle against Nigeria. Otherwise, a whole tanker will not be leaving us and nobody is able to check it. Otherwise, they will not be importing foul fuel that will damage people's car, set our economy back in so many years, and nobody is brought before the law. So these are issues that we must address.
Okay, sorry to have to cut you short. Just to be specific, I mean, you've given us a broad canvas of the things that you would like to do, the ideas that you have given to government. But on the PIA, can you be a bit specific as to the sort of swindle that you refer to? Is it like you are dissatisfied with that document as an act, or you will have wanted a different approach as to implementation?
PIA presupposes that you are bringing a system that will introduce accountability, transparency, and good governance. That is one of the main objectives of that piece of legislation. But when the legislation was passed at the Senate, I had cause, because a day before that was passed, I asked the senator, I said, please check section so of that bill. There is something there that I know somebody a clique want to smuggle into that bill, and it will be inimical to the interests of this country. And what is it? A situation where you now ouster other ministries that are checking oil and gas sector business will mean that you want to make the sector to become more opaque than before. And when the senator checked, he came back to me, he said, yes, that clause is still there. And I said, please, somebody should stand up and tell the Senate that this is not in the interest of this country. It happened. Some senators stood up at the plenary and called the attention of the Senate to that particular clause, which ousters other ministries that are supposed to be checking what the oil and gas sector is doing. You can never have a situation where one ministry will start a business and end it without another agency of government checking it. That's the principles of civil service. So how could it be such an important bill that's supposed to introduce accountability and transparency in this country, and then you will now go and then introduce something that you know will make the industry to become more opaque than before, if not because you want to steal more. And that is what is happening today. They are stealing more than ever before. Where is the investment that we are promised that if the PIA is introduced, people will be coming to invest in the oil and gas sector? Where are they? They are running away instead. You know, they are moving their assets to other clients. So that bill, if we come to power, believe you me, we'll revisit it. And we'll make sure we make it to serve the interests of this country.
All very cogent points and concerns that you've raised so far. But let's return to insecurity for a few minutes. Of course, you touched on this during the recently concluded town hall meeting. But can we get from you more specifically what your elaborate plan would be if you had to tackle it? What would you do differently from what we've seen in the current dispensations? How do you intend to go about this in specific terms?
Well, in a broad sense, and if you want, in specific sense, is that we will ensure that discipline, because the service must be disciplined in the first instance before they can fight any war at all. You know, and what we have seen today is that the service we have is not disciplined. You know, you see that commander-in-chief is not applying the rules as he's supposed to, available to him, by punishing people, and let it be known that somebody has been punished, and by promoting those that have done something wonderfully well, for them to be promoted, that is not seen yet. You know, so this is why we are where we are today. Discipline is it. You know, to give people sense of responsibility and incentive is also very important in the service. So what our administration will do is to ensure that everybody is accountable for wherever you are assigned to. We will also embark on training and retraining. We will engage in community, sensitization. That is bringing the community into the security outfit so that information will get to the military. So those who are getting in intelligence quickly and with dispatch, action will be taken. We will make sure that we arm, that is, we equip, the service as effectively as we can be. And we will not condone corruption. which is so endemic today in the service. You will hear, I mean, I was just reading somewhere that even the bill, the 2023 budget, that there are some insertions in the military, from the budget that came from the security. Why should that happen? You know, so it is the corruption that is eating deep, that is the bane of our security problems. And until we solve the issue of corruption, we may not be able to solve that problem. Like I always said, insecurity in this country, believe you me, is man-made. We can fight it. We are not so human as Nigerians. But in any situation at all, if you allow people to have their freedom to do whatever they like, they will take advantage of it. That's what you have in this country. So security, look at our soldiers. When you take them to another crime, they are excellent. You know, they achieve laurels. You know, they are commended by everybody. Everybody is commending them. Why is it not happening here? So it's man-made. It's about governance. It's about being hand-on, you know, on the issue of security and the issue of economy. So we are going to do that. It's not, you know, it's not an issue that is beyond any sound mind at all.
Yeah, but what specifically will you do differently from what a general and a former head of state who now has the opportunity as the president, you know, to be doing? What will you do differently from what General Buhari, you know, is doing? You're not a military man. You're an engineer. He's a military man. But then we can still see the struggle in terms of insecurity.
I told you my background of engineering is the one that see the bush and all the trees. So I'll see the security, you know, the environment as entirely, and I will see every general, every actor in that field, and I will deal with them in the manner that I should deal with them. That is lacking today. President Buhari is so unlucky to have people that do not share in his passion, do not really demonstrate that they are with him in what he's trying to do in securing this country. If they were, believe you me, he doesn't have to do as much as he's doing. So anybody, any president at all, believe you me, if you're commander-in-chief, you will be able to exercise those powers in terms of discipline, in terms of equipping, in terms of being engaged with anybody that is supposed to do what he's supposed to do, in terms of feedback. If I give you assignment, you don't succeed, of course, I show you the way out. You know, because if I don't, I'm risking the entire safety and security and national security, you know, in that sense. No country does what we are doing, you know, in terms of security. It is what you treat with the highest sense of responsibility and seriousness. That is yet to be demonstrated in our security architecture today. And that squarely is to Mr. President. And I pity him because he put people that he thinks are with him, but it has appeared that they are not with him. You know, he should revisit what he has. Well, time is not there, but time can be there. I mean, look at what he's doing in the economy. I think he can do the same thing in the security too, you know, in order to ensure that we have some quick, you know, fix, you know, in the situation that we have today. As the commander-in-chief, believe you me, I will use those apparatus available to me, which is the men and women that are there, and then also engage the international community, because security in Nigeria affects insecurity everywhere in the world. So they are also interested. I will key in with them, you know, effectively, especially the neighboring countries. You know, people think that if you give aid or something to the neighboring countries, you're waste. No. It's not waste of money. It's like you. If you are a rich man, you know, living amongst the poor people, you are not secured. You know, so for you to be secured is to ensure that the poor people around you also enjoy some part of what you have. That's what Nigeria is going to do. That's what America is doing. That's what Europe is doing. They don't just overlook what is happening around them, or they don't just stay aloof. Why do they have NATO? Why do they have all these, you know, unions? You know, so Nigeria is supposed to play big in those environments. We are not pulling our weight, and that is why.
All right, Engineer Sadi, let's look at some immediate concerns. Of course, we have the new electoral process going to be in a couple of months. We're pretty much very close to it. There have been safety concerns around it. And we do know that IPEC recently had a meeting with the Inspector General of Police. Could you speak to some of the demands and concerns, specific demands actually, that you have of the Nigerian police? And could you say that you have the assurances that we have safety ahead of next year's electoral process, in your opinion?
Well, I want to use this opportunity to commend and really congratulate the IG of police, because this is the first time that any IG at all will find it important to engage with the political class the way he did. So I know that it's going to be business as usual. So that gives us some confidence that things are going to work, in line with the law, and we will have credible, free, fair election in this country. Having said that, the IGP has to do a little bit more, and we have told him. In situations where INEC facilities are being attacked in the manner they're being attacked, it's danger, it portends danger. Situation where political people like the presidential candidates and other candidates deserve some protection, because it is true. They are precious targets today. If I can use the word. So I think we asked him to provide more security. One, INEC facilities, and even the individuals that have stepped forward, to present themselves for Nigerians to consider for the number one citizen of this country. These are the things we talked about. We talked about what has happened in the past. I don't want to go into that because it's not something that we are proud of, but we are proud of the present IGP by calling us, talking to us frankly, and then we telling him some of the things we want. It's not everything I can discuss here, but I know that today we have a changed police, at least from the top hierarchy of the police, and I think that will cascade down to other level, like we are advising, that this engagement should not stop only at the national level, at the headquarters. It should also go down, possibly, to even local government or even the ward, if it's possible. They should engage with politicians more effectively than hitherto. So I think we're happy that we had that meeting, and we're also convinced that the demonstration of readiness to really work for this country, not for any government, was something that was heartwarming to us too.
Okay, I'm glad that you have kind words for the police. And so I would like to ask you, are you still retaining your position that Nigeria does not need a state or regional police? Because that's one of the things that you are on record for to have said. If you are still opposed to the idea of a state police, will you carry on with the status quo as far as police in Nigeria is concerned? And what will be your approach to the whole agitation for restructuring?
Well, like I've always said, restructuring is already inbuilt in the constitution we have. The constitution is a living document. We have elected National Assembly members to go and do just that. Restructure in accordance with the dynamics of the situation so that we don't overheat the polity. I'm not saying that restructuring is not necessary. It is necessary. There's no nation that stands still at all. It's a bicycle cycle. If it stands still, you will fall. So we must move forward. And we must move forward in a scientific manner, in a designed manner, in a predictable manner. So I talked about the subnational security outfits that we have, which I said were formed out of anger. Anything done in anger cannot give you the results you want. We must sit down as a nation and then come up with, if there's a need for that kind of structure, let it come out from the discussions and the arguments that will be presented at National Assembly, and then we make our inputs to them so that they come out to something that reflects, our being, what Nigeria should be, not what a segment of the country wants us to be. No, that's the wrong way to go. I'm not against state police. If that is the decision of National Assembly, I will wholeheartedly support it, because it would have gone through the mill, meaning that the pros and cons will have been considered, and then the decision will be that this is the best interest of the country. So no, I'm not against anything at all. Mark you, I'm an engineer. I'm coming from an informed, so-called developed countries that practice some of these things you are talking about. So I know what it is, and I know what it can do. But it's never done out of anger. Today, we are forming these things out of anger. It won't give us the results we want.
All right, Engineer Sani, before we let you go, just one more question from us here. You ran in 2019 to be president, but that didn't work out. One of the things that you promised was to have 100,000 naira minimum wage. But that was at 2019. You didn't see COVID coming. You didn't see that inflation will get to 20% plus that we have it now. So even the 100,000 that you proposed in 2019, has lost value by at least 20%, as at today. Will that still be your position And then in clear terms, do you see a pathway for your presidency, given the fact that you have in the north, where you also come from, you know, a formidable candidate in Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Rabi Musa Kwakwanso of the NNPP. The bulk of the votes that will determine who becomes president in February next year will come from northern Nigeria. What are your chances?
Well, in the first instance, like you rightly said, the issue of minimum wage, which, believe you me, is nothing. When you in fact, today, inflation is about 22 or 23%, I don't know what it is, but it's moving towards 25%, meaning that Nigerians have lost the purchasing power of their money by close to 1/4 of what was given to them, you know, and that portends danger because you are creating more frustration in the system. That will affect your insecurity. It will affect the economic progress of the country. So definitely, we will see how we can move it from what it is today to. I will solve the problem of revenue, like I've told you. I will solve the issue of the porous nature of our, you know, the financial leakages that you have in the most important sectors of the economy, you know, which is like oil and gas, you know, solid minerals and other sectors of the economy like that. You know, I'll grow the sector by horizontally and vertically. You know, the way we sell even crude oil is not, you know, in the interest of this country. And then look at our shipping industry that could have been benefiting from the crude oil that God has given to us. You know, they're not keyed in. Look at Saudi Arabia. If you buy crude oil from there, it's CIF. You pay for the cost of the product itself, you pay for the transportation, you pay for insurance in Saudi Arabia. In Nigeria, you can take your insurance, you can take your transportation elsewhere and come and carry our crude oil and go like that. Billions of dollars is being lost. There's nothing to say that we cannot sell on FOB. I mean, we can't sell on CIF. So I will grow that sector so that we will not be paying 119% to service debt, not even paying debt yet. So all we need to do is grow the economy. If we grow the economy, you can pay more than 100,000 naira per month as a minimum wage. You know, so that is possible. It's doable. It is a situation that is already there. What is standing between us and that is leadership. And I have the knowledge. I know what I can do to make sure that we earn as much as possible from that sector. So many untapped areas are there in that sector today. Because of corruption, they can't look, you know, into those areas. I will look into it and bring it for the benefit of this country. Then you talk about the issue of our chances in the north. No, I don't look Nigeria from the prism of north. I look at Nigeria from Nigeria perspective. You know, that's I've spoken against people who look at ethnicity as their world, at the ethnic group as their world, instead of Nigeria as their world. I look at Nigeria as my world. You know, so I think Nigeria. I don't think north. You know, so the issue is that you may have Konkoso, you may have Atiku, you may have Tinubu, you may have Obi. That is not my problem. My problem is that, like I told you, in Osun State we did it, and in Nigeria we have mastered that what we did in Osun when we came third. That you'll be surprised what will happen. Believe you me. We have so much time, even as it is today, because politics one day is more than enough to change the scenario. Nigerians are waking up already. They know the futility of going the way they are going. They know that this is danger, but you know, it's like an accident waiting to happen if you allow any of these people to really assume the leadership of this country, because they have nothing to offer. It's not that they don't want to offer. They don't have it. You can't give what you don't have. I have. I've proved it. Ask one of them who has ever solved the problem of crude oil theft in this country, who has solved the problem of fuel subsidy in this country. Fuel subsidy is eating deep into our revenue. I can solve it, believe you me. It's what I've done before. So I'm saying that Nigerians will discover very soon that their next president is Engineer Wawa Isani, not because I'm from the north or from anywhere, any part of the country, but because I'm a Nigerian who has what it takes, and what it takes is to deliver, to ensure that our economy works. The whole world recognizes the role Nigeria plays in terms of economic arena. And we play big. It's not that we are being dwarfed by incompetence in governance. That will not be there anymore.
All right, Engineer
Yabagi. Believe you me, come 2023.
All right, Engineer Yabagi Sani, presidential candidate of the Action Democratic Party. Thank you so much for joining us on the morning show today, and we wish you the very best. Thank you.